Hey guys, it's Swift here, and this is the second part of my DIY NAS series. This part have long been coming because I'm currently very busy with my other commitments, and this will go on for this year and next. So yeah, I'm going to be quite inactive. I'll try to squeeze some time whenever I can to create videos and whatnot for you guys. So anyway, let's just go straight into the video. This second part of the video of the series is basically to teach you how to set up the basic fundamentals to enable your DIY Ubuntu NAS server to start serving files through your network and stuff like that. So what you want to do firstly is to get the ISO, the full CD image of the Ubuntu server downloaded into your computer. You would then have to either burn it to a CD, or you can simply learn how to create a live USB or something like that, which you can use it for your installation of the Ubuntu server itself. So once you have done that, you're gonna plug into your brand new computer and then make it boot from that device, whether is it your optical drive or is it your thumb drive, your hard drive, flash drive, or something like that. So once you've done that, immediately you'll get into this screen. It might be quite different from yours in terms of the outlook, but this is using a VirtualBox, the software, to just show you quickly how the initial starting phase is. So what you see now is the language screen. So you're going to select one that you're most comfortable with, whichever you are more well learned in. For me, it's just simply English. So here I'll just go straight in, enter, and then you're greeted with several different kinds of options here. For what you're gonna do here is basically you're just gonna go with the first one, default one, install Ubuntu server. And then now throughout this installation is going to be quite long, so I will be cutting the video parts by parts and to make it shorter. So you just have to wait at a certain point of time and just go with the flow. So here we go. The first thing, select a language for installation process. I'm sorry. So you're gonna go with, again, the one that you're most comfortable with, and mine is English. And then you're gonna go select your location. You can just select anything you want. This is for your system, and for me, I will go to Singapore because that's where I live. Next, you're gonna want to detect the keyboard layout. You can do that. You can press yes or no. Yes will ask you to type a few keys. If not, no, you just select from one. And mine's just English US, the standard one. Nothing too special about mine. So here we go. We're gonna wait. You're gonna see the screen quite a lot, and so basically they're going to start up all the different components and stuff like that to get necessary stuff for installation. So yeah, I will stop talking now and wait till the next screen comes up. You just have to wait for this part. So for this screen now, you can choose whichever name you want to appear on your network. For me, I've chosen Swift NAS. You can choose anything, up to you really, but do remember what it is in case you do not know what your NAS name is called. So for now, I'll just go with the default Ubuntu and then just hit enter to go continue. Next thing is here, your username, password. This is quite important. You will have to try to remember. You must remember what it is. Choose one that you are most comfortable and perhaps you can remember. For me, I'll go for Swift. That's my default one. Username, you can go for the same thing as well. And then your password for you to have administrative access, sudo access, stuff like that. So once you enter that, you have to re-verify it. And now at this screen, you can choose to encrypt your home directory, but unless you're doing some really very confidential stuff, I doubt you actually need them. So you can go ahead and press yes, but I would recommend that you not do that. There are many other ways to prevent theft, and this encryption, we can do it at a later time anyway. So now once you hit I'll recommend no for now. If you would like it, you can read up more about that and set it up on a later time. And the system should detect your time zone correctly. For me, Singapore, so yes, this is correct. This is my time zone, so you can go ahead and hit enter, and if it's wrong, then just hit no, and then you can select whatever your time zone is. Now this last part is actually to do your hard drive, the partitioning of your hard drive. If you're using your hard drive for both the OS and data, such as you want to serve files from the OS itself, you will have to select manual, and that will allow you to partition your drive in such a way that the OS is on one partition and the other partition will be for serving up the different data files and for storage. I wouldn't recommend you to actually do that because if the OS fails and your data fails, you're going to lose your OS and the data, which is going to be very, very troublesome. What you would do, I would recommend, is that you have your OS on a small drive itself. Anything a very small one would be enough, and then just partition the whole thing for OS itself. So now you're gonna, for this step, I'm gonna go for the guided, the first one. Partition the whole drive and go ahead. As you can see, here are the different thing that the information that they tell you what they're formatted to, and just go ahead and go to yes and press enter, and it will partition and format. Alright, so now we're back, and we're going to configure some settings here. You can see here the HTTP proxy information. Usually you don't have, there wouldn't be anything to fill in here, so you're just going to hit enter. This is basically for you to retrieve all your different applications and packages from the databases that you have. I don't really know how to explain it. It's like a package database. That's the thing about Linux and Ubuntu distributions. They work in such a way, instead of having software and stuff like that, they use the command called apt-get to grab the necessary libraries, utilities, and core components that you will need to run certain stuff. So yeah, let's just wait for it to configure, and I'll get right back to you once again. For this part, you can actually choose for yourself whether you want to have it automatically updating or not. For my own NAS, I've selected no automatic updates, because sometimes updates will break stuff, and I just don't want that to happen without me knowing. So I selected no automatic updates. For you, you can just choose whichever you want, really. You can go with automatic or not, it really doesn't matter. But if you do select the same thing as me, such as the opting for no automatic, which means manual updates, do also keep yourself aware to actually update your system once every while to prevent any security lapse and bugs and stuff like that. So for now, I'll just go ahead and just go with no automatic updates, and we're gonna wait again. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Now the software selections, you can select a few here. What you want actually for your NAS to start working is OpenSSH server, as well as Samba file server. As you can see here, Samba file server, and here OpenSSH. For now, I believe I'm going to just start off with OpenSSH, because what this will allow you is for you to have remote access, so you can bring your NAS to the locations that you want, and then you can just go ahead and run it headless, which means without a monitor. So we're just gonna do the installation of OpenSSH server for now. The Samba file server can wait to a later part, which I will upload very quickly, because this is the crucial part for your NAS to even start working. So hit spacebar to select things you want, and then you're gonna go ahead and hit continue with the enter button. And now this is going to install and grab all the stuff that is required to install the OpenSSH server. and now we're going to have to wait for a while as it gets the installation done. Alright, for this one you can choose yes. It's for you to help you to boot up your system. If you're running I don't think you should be running any multi-operating system right now. There's no point to it at all, so just go ahead and press enter for the yes itself. So as you can see, the installation takes quite some time, and do note that you should have internet access for it to properly load and install the different packages and stuff. Use the LAN cable, and you should be using LAN cable because that will allow you to achieve maximum potential of file transfer speed between your computer and the NAS itself. So we're going into the final part of the installation, and there we go. Time to build your new system. So here we go. We're gonna just go ahead, hit continue, and the system will reboot. As you can see here, VirtualBox here is a virtual machine software. Now that's the bootloader, which will load Ubuntu up. Now I'm just gonna type. You just have to type the username that you have chosen earlier and your password, and you should log into the system. And there we go. We have Ubuntu set up, and it's running perfectly well right now, which will bring us to the next very quick part, which is to enable your OpenSSH server, so you can access it remotely. And you can thus use your NAS at a remote location connected to your network, and without a monitor plugged in. So yeah, we're gonna do that very quickly. We'll just take a little break, prepare my notes and stuff like that, and we'll jump straight into setting up the OpenSSH server. Right, so the next thing what we want to do is to set a static IP. You can opt to skip this step if you don't mind having your IP changing once every while, according to the DHCP leased by your router. So a static IP will give you quite a few benefits, such as easier port forwarding, allowing you to have access from the World Wide Web and stuff like that at a much easier way. So what you want to do now is basically just follow these few steps, and you will have to find out what is the configuration of your internet itself, such as your gateway IP address, your broadcast IP address and stuff like that. I'll just show you very quickly. So what you're going to type here in the command line interface is sudo, which is basically granting you temporary super user access, which is something like root access, which will allow you to do administrative stuff. So you're going to type in nano, N-A-N-O. This is a text editor. There are a few in Ubuntu, such as VI. It's another popular one. You can just choose accordingly whichever you're more comfortable with. So sudo nano /etc etc/network/interfaces. Now you're gonna have to type your password for your users, and then we'll be right inside this this text editor screen. So you can see here, currently the system, the network interface is set at DHCP, which is receiving its IP address from your router that's connected to at the moment. So what you're gonna do here is to change this into static. You can find all this written down in the article. I'll have one article up on my website at swiftworld.net. You can copy and paste, do whatever you like and refer, so that's easier for you, or you can simply pause the video and read off the screen. So you can go ahead and type in address, and then this is the address that you want your server to be, the local address within the range of your router. Don't put it outside the subnet or something like that of your router, which means, let's say all your servers at 192.168.1 point whatever, you don't go and put it at 192.168.2 point whatever you want. So you gotta keep it within the same, not sure what's that word, the technical word, but you have to keep it within the same range, I guess. But what you want to do is you want to keep it outside the DHCP issuing IP range of your router, so that there won't be any conflicting IP addresses. So after that, you're gonna go net mask. This would usually be a standard default setting. Unless yours is different, you should know. Otherwise, you can just try this setting. Then you go network 192.168.1.0. For this, again, you're gonna have to find out yourself. Usually, it's basically within whatever range it is, the point, whatever point. Very hard to explain through words, actually. I'm not too well learned in such an area, really. So you just gotta follow, I guess, trial and error, or just read up on Google. So it's, if your network is within a 0.2 or let's say 0.100 or whatever, you're gonna have that at 192.168.100.0. It should work. And then we're gonna go next to broadcast. Again, you gotta find out what's the settings. And then lastly, the gateway. This is gonna be usually your the main router, something like that. And there we go. You're gonna edit this to your whatever that is according to your own network settings. Do not follow just blindly. You have to edit it to your customize it to your own network. So yeah, once you've done this, what you want to do next is to, I'm not gonna save this. I'm not gonna save. You're gonna press Control and X, and then you're gonna press Y and enter to save the file. So once you've done that, you're gonna go next into sudo nano again /etc/resolv.conf. Now this is gonna edit your name server, which is going to be whichever you're gonna find out yourself here. Usually is your router or something like that, the one that gives out the IP and stuff. So once you're done, again, Control X, sorry, to save it. And then what you're gonna do now, that since you have started everything, you're gonna have to go type in sudo /etc/init.d/networking restart. Now what this will do is to restart your network interfaces to apply the new settings. And once that is done, you're gonna have to go type in pinggoogle.com to see if your network's working. You're gonna receive a reply from the Google itself, and once done, you can Control C to cancel it. And so yeah, now if your network is working, you can go ahead for the next step. If not, you're gonna edit the settings until you get it right. Now the next step I want you to try out is that once you have that done, what you want to do next is to get a SSH silent here, something like PuTTY here, PUTTY, that's a Windows one, and connect directly to your NAS right now. For example, if the IP address of this NAS is 192.168.1.100, and listening at the port at 22 for the SSH server, you're gonna use the PuTTY silent to log on. And if you can log on here, which means you have remote access to your server, you are actually done, and you can start shifting your NAS to wherever you want, take out the monitor and stuff like that. Just precaution, because I face this problem. What you want to do is that you're gonna reboot the system through the command line here. You can just put sudo reboot, and that will basically reboot your system. What you will do next is that once your system starts up, you're gonna use your external silent here to connect to it to see if the SSH server is going to start automatically at the start of boot. At the booting, once your server is boot up, the SSH server will start automatically. Because I faced this problem myself that the SSH server didn't start for mine, and I had to do some configuration. So we're gonna here, and you can see here you don't have to exactly log in right now. You can actually access the server already. So at this screen, at this point of time, you should have remote access. And once that is done, we're going to go straight into setting up your Samba file server. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well.